I'm Taylor Lorenz. I'm a technology and online culture journalist and content creator, and you are listening to the Scene World podcast.
It's the Scene World podcast. I'm over here. I'm the native English speaker, and he's yours.
He's not. Yeah.
He's not. Yes.
He's not.
In a second, we'll be talking to Maria Belova.
No, Zubova.
Zubova. Okay.
That went well.
That went great. In a minute, we'll be talking with Maria Zubova from Assemble or Ensemble. Yeah. We'll.
Assemble Entertainment, yeah.
Yes, there is some debate over whether it's Assemble or Ensemble. And
I mean, it's I guess it's Assemble. I mean, don't count me for pronunciation.
Assemble, Ensemble, potato. You know.
I mean, Ensemble is probably something else. It's probably like
that sounds like ensemble.
A group.
Yes, ensemble.
Exactly.
Ensemble. Yes.
A group of musicians. Playing a concert.
Yeah. Right, but we'll figure it out at some point. We'll put it in. We'll put a caption here, a subtitle.
It's Assemble.
Yeah. Okay.
Assemble Entertainment.
Beautiful. Okay, so that's in a minute.
Yeah.
Before that, there's not much news, but a little bit. Maybe we'll rant a tad.
Well, start it.
Maybe I'll rant a tad.
So start your rant, man.
Okay, so it's happened. Commodore Industries, which is an Italian company led by Luigi Simonetti, they are now trying to prevent the revived Commodore International, which is run by Chris Simpson, Perifractic on YouTube, trying to prevent them from using the name. And I don't know. So I don't want to misrepresent this because I don't know what the specifics are. I've got an article. Okay, so the Commodore name, we know, you and I, we all know that the name Commodore is a clusterfuck, to use the politically correct term, and who owns it and all that stuff. Now, this was kind of rectified earlier this year when a group led by YouTuber Perifractic, Chris Simpson, bought the company, bought Commodore from the trademark holders. Prior to that, there are companies that exist that had they essentially had licensed the name. Okay, one of these is the Italian British Commodore company that was making cell phones that we spoke to, the Pet Phone, and the Leo.
Massimo Conosciani.
Yes, and so I don't know. They haven't done anything in a while. I don't know what the current status of that company is.
But they didn't get a license from Commodore International.
Right.
I mean, they were also in.
No. I said prior.
In front of court.
I said prior to all of this. Prior to Perifractic buying this, they were producing cell phones with the name Commodore, and then this other one, Commodore Industries, which is also Italian, has been producing laptops and speakers and tablets and stuff like that with the Commodore name, and they're also doing some gaming stuff, like they're making a new version of New Zealand Story and Xenon or Exenon, however you say that, by the Bitmap brothers. So when this all happened, when Commodore International became a thing, right, with Perifractic and a bunch of the old Commodore names involved, initially I believe there were negotiations for the use of the name. And I guess that a deal wasn't reached. And so now they are moving, the Italian Commodore is moving on to step 2, which is attempting to have the Commodore word mark removed from the BV's register.
Which is in UK or something.
Yes. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Is it? No, not UK. BV. That
BV?
sounds like in Dutch or something.
Yeah, it was a Dutch company that owned it, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I imagine that's still. So either way, I don't know how this is going to work out, and I don't want to. I wish that someone could come in here and explain the lawyering of it to us, because I don't know enough, and I don't want to misrepresent what's going on from anyone's standpoint. So I'm not going to try to decipher what's going on. I do know that the way that Massimo Canigiani's Commodore got around the trademark things was by arguing that Commodore never made cell phones. So as long as they make something that was not made by, they're not making new C64s, they're not making computers, they're not making anything that Commodore made. So by saying that they have the rights to put it on a cell phone, that got them around, that kind of danced around the legality of it.
But now, interestingly, Massimo Canigiani never did anything after the Leo.
Right. Yeah. That's why I said I don't know what the status of that company is right now. Now, I guess maybe the same argument could be made for Luigi Simonetti's Commodore, because they're making laptops, they're making tablets, and that's not what other companies are making with that. And I guess they could argue that it's a niche product. But again, that also goes into where the new Commodore, the Perifractics Commodore, where that plans to go into the future. Because right now they're making a C64 based on Gideon's 64 Ultimate.
Gideon Schweitzer's.
Yes. So they're making that right now.
And it's interesting because they are selling it. I mean, they made videos and posts about it.
Sure.
The first Commodore 64 produced since 1994.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's not true. So they are very dishonest here.
Well,
and that is something that shocked me.
It's a. So I understand what they're doing from a marketing standpoint. It makes a bit of sense because they can say that it's the first Commodore 64 made by a Commodore. Because obviously, Jens Schoenfeld has made with the C64 Reloaded, and there's a case you can get. He's been making C64s. The C64 Ultimate, Gideon Schweitzer, he's been making them. Places have been making cases and all this stuff for a while. This is the first Commodore 64 in however many years that was made by a company called Commodore.
Okay, if you see it this way,
that's the honesty standpoint of what they're saying, is that sure, it's not strictly true, but from a marketing standpoint, sure, yeah, it's the first Commodore made by Commodore in 40 years.
I mean, I never asked Gideon what PCB manufacturer he uses, but it could be very well PCBWay as well.
I'm sure they're one of the big ones. They're one of the ones that really will work in this
retro
realm, yeah.
field.
But they're also, I mean, Perifractic, the YouTube channel, they are one of the big sponsors of that channel.
I mean, they have been coming to his YouTube show once, traveling from Taiwan to and Shanghai to him.
Yeah, I mean, they've been one of his sponsors since for forever. So I mean, it makes sense that they would be a part of this. And they're not a bad cut. They don't make a bad product. That's
true.
PCBWay is because they'll do small runs of things, and they'll do these little hobbyist projects that you're not making 1 million of them. You're making 100, or 50 or something.
Right.
They'll do that for you. But yeah, so I don't know where this is going. I don't know. I guess the concern is mostly that it could impact product shipping to Europe, because I don't know if this. I don't know if this, like again, I don't know where the legal stuff is. I don't know where falls on the international stage.
It's actually an interesting question. Is actually Gideon Schweitzer still selling his Ultimate 64?
Sure.
I guess, so. Yeah. So, but there's not much difference between the two. I mean, okay, it has a different case. It has LED.
It's got a user port, right?
Yes, it got a user port. For the Gideon one, you have to buy this extra. The board only has the connections. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a. I don't see why he would stop selling it, because his is a. I mean, he's been working on that for a long time, and I mean, he's very active in the support of that, and the 1541 Ultimate, which is, I've got one of them on mine. It's an awesome piece of kit. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why he would stop selling that. I think as long as he doesn't brand it as a Commodore product. And that also goes down...
yeah. Okay, he still sells it, and it's still in stock. But the Ultimate 64 Elite is out of stock.
Okay, but that also falls under the the argument of how are they using it? Did they get the rights from him to use his design, and then they are making their own, or is he doing this? Or are they? You know what I mean? Are they making their own based on his design, or are they making his, or is he making them and letting them use them? That's kind of the crux of what it comes down to. I don't know. I don't know what the deal they have. Obviously, they've got a deal, and he's listed as one of the partners in their thing. So, I obviously they've got something happening. I don't know how that works. I would love to talk to anybody involved in this. Please email us, because we would really like to understand how this works. Because we've seen the there's videos on there. There's people are talking about it and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually I have been inviting Gideon's Forevers to the podcast. He's always saying he's too busy.
Yeah, but I mean, anyone else involved in the whole Commodore International thing, just because I would love to understand the logistics, of how that all worked, rather than just hey, we got a bunch of money and a bunch of big names and went and bought some stuff. Here's a cool video about it. Okay, that's all hype worthy and all that, but what's the backstory? How is this? How do the deals work? I don't know. Maybe they're that transparent. I can't tell you. I can't say that I've really looked that hard into it, aside from just kind of just skimming. But it's
I have no idea. I have no idea. Okay.
It's probably the biggest story in the C64 scene for a decade, but how it plays out is anyone's guess, and how these companies will continue to coexist, if they do, is and that's another thing too. Hey, Luigi Simonetti, come talk to us and let us know what's going on, or what you're trying to do, because I'd be interested to know that.
Hopefully it's not starting to be a shit show like the Amigo S situation.
I mean, it's already a shit show. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, the funny thing is just the scramble to use this defunct, and I was talking to Jurek a little bit before we started recording about the assertion that there is this kind of rose-colored glasses look at what Commodore, where we'd be if Commodore hadn't gone under, if it had been managed properly, if Irving Gould and Mehdi Ali hadn't thrown the whole thing in the shitter and run away to the Caribbean, where things would have been. And I think it's a little bit it's a little disingenuous to think that if they hadn't gone down the drain, that we'd have Amiga would be the dominant platform. No, it wouldn't. It would look largely like it is now. And I think that Commodore today would have been, at best, it would have been a Dell or a Compaq or something.
So you don't think Commodore would have been here with the Amiga instead of the PC master race?
No, because Amiga never had that big a share to begin with, and Windows, the way that PC took over was through licensing, because Microsoft made the software, so all these different computers would all be made to run it. And that's, if Commodore was around now, they would be making Windows PCs and laptops and stuff, and probably phones, because that's where the consumer electronics space is. People think of Commodore as the C64 company, but what no one really pays attention to is the fact that the C64 came out in 82, and from 84, Commodore was trying to get away from it. They were putting out the Plus4 and the 16 and the 264 and the B120, all these other machines to try to kind of move on from the 64. But at that point, it had been such a success that people had a big software library of C64 stuff, and they didn't want to move on from that to computers that were, furthermore, they were all still 8-bit machines. So a Plus4, it's got more colors, but it's not largely any better than a C64.
Which I believe is also the reason why for many, many years the Commodore 64 and the Amiga was running side by side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at the games, how many games were released for the Amiga and the C64, despite 8-bit was outdated at the time, it's amazing.
Right. And the C64 was, they hamstrung themselves by their own success, because such a big ecosystem of software popped out for it. And so moving on to something else, the best attempt they made was the 128.
Yeah.
And that had the 64, that had a C64 inside of it to go to 64 mode, which is and that ended up being the mode that most people use. There's not that much C128 software out, but Commodore, if they could have gotten another big machine 2 years after the 64 was released, they would have thrown it into the trash, just like the VIC-20. It would have been marginalized, because they were trying to find the next big thing. Even the 65, which they were working on right at the very end of their existence, has a 64 mode.
Right.
So, if Commodore was still alive, if Commodore existed today in 2025, they would be a consumer electronics company, with
PCs
so many others,
that have a C64 mode inside.
Making largely the things that the two Italian companies, laptops, tablets, and cell phones, have been making.
Well, the question is, would the C64 mode be better than what Tulip did with the Webbit, which was just a modified version of the C64S emulator?
The Webbit was a pile. The C64 Webbit is, for anyone that doesn't know, maybe we'll put a picture up here. It's basically the lower half of a laptop, with a shitty. Was that Linux? Did it run, or was that
no Windows? No, it was DOS and Windows 3.1.
Okay. DOS,
which was even outdated by that time already.
But it was like a customized, weird looking version of Windows, I thought. It was
Windows 3.1, not customized.
Okay.
What was customized was the C64S emulator. It was stripped down because the Webbit, this is also interesting, had a 486 inside. So
right.
The Windows 3.1 was outdated by the time it released, and so was the 486 CPU. So the hardware was outdated, and the software was outdated. The operating system was outdated, and instead of network connection or something, it had an analog modem connection to it. So everything about this thing was outdated at the time of release already. Yeah. So I don't know why they thought this would be a success. While the rest of the world was using Windows 98. Pentium processors, and here in Europe in 1999 we got introduced to DSL, so even the analog modem connection was outdated by that.
Probably because it was a cheap, already made thing that they could slap because this is something that people have been doing for a long time. Get like a cheap, Japanese or Chinese MP3 player, throw a Commodore logo on it, release it as like the Vic or some nonsense, name it after something that will make people think, oh hey, I remember that name, I'll purchase that.
Pet phone.
Yeah, the pet phone. Yes. I mean, at least the Leo wasn't named after an existing Commodore product.
That's true.
But even the pet phone, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a bad phone. It was a little out of date because it was an older a Chinese phone or something, and
yeah,
and it, like even when it was new, it went for like half the price they were selling it for. But
I know.
But I can let them get away with it because that's the sort of thing that Commodore, they used to import typewriters and stuff from Eastern Europe and slap a Commodore logo on it. That's exactly the sort of thing that Commodore did back in the day. The printers, I got an 803, an MPS 803. That's a rebranded printer. That's a different company. You can find that exact same printer with a different logo on it, made by the manufacturer. I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Epson or something. But that's the 801 is the same thing. There is another non-Commodore version of it because they just took that and slapped their name on it. That's exactly what the sort of thing they would do. So I can kind of forgive it, but yeah, it's a mess. It's a whole mess. But yeah, maybe someone will eventually come on here and explain to us how this all works, so that we don't sound like idiots talking about it.
I mean, what it makes complicated is they are in Italy. Commodore International is in America, so it's international law that's taking place.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So. Right. But I imagine this will also have some ramifications down the line because. Was it Jens that got the rights to call the Commodore 64 Reloaded?
He bought the rights
to call
for
it that.
Yeah,
and so now, where does that leave him?
Because I mean, he even was allowed to reprint the original packages.
Right.
For his cases and stuff.
And he doesn't play He doesn't play well with others. So I don't see him.
An alpha animal, you mean to say?
Yeah, I don't see him making an agreement with these guys to, I don't know what the agreements are. Just do they get a cut of the profits? Because I don't see him accepting that. I see him just being like, well, I'll take the Commodore name off it, whatever. I don't know. I really wish there was like a Cliff Notes for this, where that would explain what was happening.
We should have an episode where we invite all parties that you're
using
Commodore name right now.
Dude, I'll do that.
But then believe how horrible could that turn out in the long run?
It's going to be a 9-hour fucking episode of us talking, listening to people argue.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And then invite a lover.
What's that?
And then invite a lover.
Yeah, right. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if y'all want to come on the podcast, okay, we'll sign a waiver that whatever you agree to on the podcast is what has to happen in real life. So y'all come in here, argue it out, and then after 3 days of nonstop podcast, because it'll take forever. We should just live stream it, and then whatever happens at the end of it is what you're all bound to legally. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. We'll bring peace to the scene.
Yeah. Or more turmoil, who knows?
That too, yeah.
Yeah, that could also happen. Yeah. Well, perhaps let's go to other C64 related matters. And now the C64 emulator Virtual 64 has been pre-released in a new version that has been announced on Threads in the version 6.0 beta 1.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I don't remember this emulator.
I think, isn't that Mac only?
I have no idea. Perhaps that is why.
I think that might be a Mac only C64 emulator because I've seen.
Well, it's open source because it's on GitHub.
Oh, maybe that's not the one I'm thinking of then.
Oh yes, Visual C64 is a cycle-accurate C64 emulator for macOS.
There you go.
So you're right on that one. Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times. I don't think I have it.
It's cycle-accurate, so it's.
Well, yeah, but most of them are, aren't they?
It's done by a German guy called Dirk Hoffmann.
Another Jörg.
Dirk.
Oh, Dirk. Oh, okay.
Dirk is different.
Oh,
D-I-R-K. Dirk.
Oh, Dirk.
Or Dirk, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Dirk would be in German.
Okay.
But of course, if you Americanize it, would be Dirk. Yeah.
Okay.
Hoffmann, which obviously was a Hoffman, but
Dirk Hoffman. It sounds like a grizzled private detective. Dirk Hoffman.
Nah, it's Dirk Hoffmann. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he's actually living in my state, also in Karlsruhe, Germany.
Yeah, I've seen that emulator a couple of times. I've never used it. I'm still in Vice.
Oh, he is even in the in the high school of Karlsruhe. It's even a doctor. Oh my god. Okay, so pretty potent guy. Interesting.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. He's an IT guy. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
He's even a professor at the giving informatic classes.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. I just found his German Wikipedia entry. So quite a big guy.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting. See?
Cool.
So you knew the emulator, but you didn't know that it's quite a famous guy behind it.
Yeah, I had no idea.
All right. Yeah. So that's that.
Okay.
And now we are tapping away. We mentioned Right to Repair, and we also mentioned
we did a whole series of podcasts about Right to Repair Week.
If you like. Yeah. They announced that Fairphone now will enter the US market. They are a Dutch company, and they are producing the Fairphone since many years. They now have the Fairphone number 4, and as you might remember, Fairphone has minerals, grinded under fair conditions for the workers.
Oh, okay.
So it's not only fair for the workers, it's not only fully modular and repairable and so on. It's everything is fair there. Everything is economically friendly, and so it's what they do. And now they're expanding to the to America.
Nice. Awesome.
Have fun with the FCC.
Yeah.
They can be a bit tricky to work with.
Little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I know that because I used to work in telemedical field, and we also had devices distributing to America. It was a very complex thing, and I thought up to this point that in European Union it's already complex.
No.
And then there came America. Like, yeah.
Yep.
And they come and visit your company.
Mm-hmm. They're the reasons that 1541s have big, chunky metal shields in them for no good reason.
And the C64Cs have this. Okay. Well, I don't know if they have in America, but in Germany we have this metal.
Yes.
Metal paper mixture.
No, you've got the cardboard with foil.
Cardboard, exactly.
Yeah, no, we had like actual like metal shielding.
Yeah, but the metal shielding was only for the C64C.
And the 128.
And the 128, exactly. But I never removed the one from the 28 because the 28 always is also used as a secondary passive cooler.
It was on the 64C too.
Not in Germany.
Oh no, in the US, the SID and I think the VIC chips both have little fingers going down.
Fingers,
to them. But I mean, the effect of this is that as a heat sink is. I stuck heat sinks like little heat sinks on all of my chips anyway. So
yeah, I have on some, but not on all.
It's in the Amiga too, that heat shield.
Huh. Yeah. Anyway, so Fairphone is coming to the US. Perhaps it's a good time to invite them.
Yeah.
And ask them in an interview about what's their plans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And now different is NES.
Mm-hmm.
The Commodore History Foundation. No, so sorry. I have to repeat that. So the Video Game History Foundation had a panel on the Portland Retro Gaming Expo in the US, and they managed to get all 3 launching members of the NES in America.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That you saw that because I also forwarded it to you.
Yes,
and
exactly.
it's a over 2-hour panel. It's, oh my god, it's going so deep into the history. I didn't watch it all yet, but it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Yes, well, and other news also that the Repair Cafe Foundation, which Martina Postma, we interviewed her.
Yeah.
Exactly. They have started a starter kit called Linux Repair Cafe, and that is to advertise and educate people in using Linux on their aging computers instead of Windows 10. Because Windows 10 discontinued as of October.
Yep.
And personally, I took the choice. My old computer from 2012 has Windows 11 on it, with bypassing the hardware requirements.
Right.
It's possible, right?
Yes.
And that one computer in my family that doesn't support POP CNT2 on their CPU, that computer I replaced last Christmas. But since I have a newer generation of AMD CPUs on that machine of 2012, because I put it together a few months later than in my family, I can still run it. Bless you. So
thank you.
Yeah. So I would do that because I think Linux is still too complex to run all your hardware on it. I mean, getting my printer to work, it was such a nightmare. It took me over 10 years to figure out how. And when I figured out how, I put a step-by-step manual on my blog, so I can link to that actually.
Linux is an interesting animal. It's been a while since I tried to mess with Linux. I did put it on some machines for some like family members that were that needed something simple, and their machines weren't new enough for Windows 11 or whatever. If you're not doing much with it, it's a fine OS. Like an Ubuntu install is very nice if you're just going on there to watch YouTube and do your email and stuff.
And fun. Of course, my problem is I'm trying to game on it. I'm trying to get all the hardware running, all the obscure things.
And that's one of the things that I ran into at the time. This is a few years ago. Was that things like Netflix wouldn't work on it. You had to go and do all this esoteric terminal stuff to build like this backdoor Netflix thing that would allow it to work. I don't think that's the same anymore. I think now it works fine. Like they've fixed it to work with that, but there's other things where, it's not as easy as just finding the app or the driver or whatever and plugging it in and going. You have to.
It's true.
You need to do some witchcraft. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
I've learned enough of that witchcraft through back alley Mac OS finagling, because that's another thing is that as your Macs get older, they can't support the newer Mac OS. So what I've done, there's a product called Open Core Legacy Patcher, which will let you install newer Mac OSs on your older machines, which is what I'm doing. This is why my 2012 MacBook Pro is still rocking with the brandly newest OS. But at a certain point, none of them will support it because of the switch to Apple Silicon and all that stuff. And so these machines can be kept alive with Linux, which will support most of the hardware. It's just that there needs to be a level of proficiency with the machines that a lot of people don't have these days. A lot of like general consumers are not.
I mean, even I managed to break Linux every time I tried it. I broke it beyond repair.
I haven't managed to break it, but
I always managed to break it beyond repair. And even if it was just that I updated to a later distribution version, and that upgrading process totally killed it.
Really?
Yeah.
What version of Linux were you using?
Open Mandriva.
Oh, I remember your the Mandriva. That was a long time ago. Your Mandriva experiment.
Yeah, and then the current thing is Open Mandriva. Yeah. I
liked. I've done Ubuntu, and I've heard good things about Mint, but I haven't personally tried it myself.
Yeah, and after I killed my installation by upgrading it, and then it stopped halfway working, I didn't bother in installing it from scratch and doing it all over again. I just reset SSD that it was on and put it in my new PC as a secondary SSD.
Those were the days of you and me trying to get things to work between Linux and Mac. Back in the day, trying to make like ICQ file transfers happen, or MSN. I joined a group that built a version of MSN Messenger for classic Mac OS, because that was the only way that I was going to be able to get it to work.
I know, I remember that. Yeah,
that was those were the days. Yeah. We haven't done that in a long time. We haven't had these troubleshooting sessions where we're sitting there like,
I mean,
try this. I'm going to try this now.
Yeah, I know. It was also it was also that before Microsoft took over Skype, they had a different.
It was before Skype was a thing.
Well, Skype was a thing pretty much since the beginning. But not so much on Mac. On Mac and Linux, it was always like features lagging behind.
Because we were doing, I think the first video conference that we did was over AIM.
Oh, that Instant could Messenger. Be. I don't remember.
Yeah. You were on Instant Messenger, and I was on iChat, which was just Instant Messenger, and we did a video call through that, and then we there was some other things that we experimented with, and then Skype became a thing.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. That was way back in the dark ages.
Wow.
Classic Mac on a Power PC, baby.
Well, things have changed.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, well, so last thing perhaps, the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection has been released by Digital Eclipse, and it's a total disaster of a product launch because not so much on the PC, but especially on consoles, you have input lag. Online mode doesn't allow lobbies yet because they didn't get it into time. That means you only can do quick match. That means it connects you seemingly to any match they can find. And for some reason, there's a buffering issue with the music. So when you are connected to somebody over the internet, the music is lagging incredibly. On top of the input lag. For many people, the arcade versions that are in the collections are just showing a black screen in the emulator.
It's so funny. It's so funny because the last two interviews that we've done, which one of them is out, one of them isn't, which are with development studios. Why can't I talk today? I'm like stumbling over words.
Yeah, well, the last one that released was Small Thing Studio
from. But like the last two interviews that we have done with have been with development studios. One is out, one is not yet, and both of them were emphasized to us that they don't want to release a product that is not complete. You know, they have a deadline for when it's coming out, but they're like, I think even one of them said, if we find a problem, it'll get pushed back because we're not putting something out half-assed.
Which I think is the reason why Tempest Rising switched publishers. I believe THQ Nordic said like, no, you're not putting much more money into it. You have to release it now. And they said like, no, we won't.
It's not ready,
then they were like, okay, then find somebody else, and then they switched to Saber.
But it's so funny that like,
and I think the same happened with Simon the Sorcerer Origins. That they originally had Leonardo Interactive from Rome, Italy, and now they switched to Innen, which is in Germany. Of course, they say we had disagreements on the style of game and bullshit.
But it's just funny.
The money ran out. That's what I think.
This major title, Mortal Kombat, is a disaster because it was put out and all this stuff doesn't work. But you've got indie studios saying like, we're going to take our time, and indie studios that don't have that much money to throw at a project are like, we're going to make sure that this is perfect before it's out because we don't want to fuck it up. Whereas this major title, Mortal Kombat, they're like, here you go, and it's like a leaky trash bag.
I know,
full of nonsense.
Yeah,
you know, like that's.
Of course, many play Warner Brothers, who own Warner Bros. How it's actually
Warner Brothers, yeah, Warner
Brothers, yeah, who actually own the IP. They put the blame on them, putting too much pressure on Digital Eclipse.
I mean, yeah, it's not a. I don't think you can blame one thing for that because it's all the way around. It's everything because it's got to go through so many different levels before it's released, and for everyone to be like, okay, well, good enough, and have it go out and just kind of disintegrate on contact that's a systemic failure all the way. because it doesn't. There's people looking. There's quality control. There's testers. There's all these people that are looking at it that are saying like, oh, it's broken. It's not like it was released and suddenly they realized it was broken. They would have seen this long before in the playtest.
Yeah, I mean, actually, 12 hours before release, Digital Eclipse made an announcement that they know that the online function doesn't have a lobby system yet. So they released it half broken.
Right.
And so, opening announcing that, actually.
Right, and that's the kind of thing where you see, like, again, a lot of smaller. And I said in one of the other podcasts we did that I don't mind when big studios kind of step back from releasing certain types of games, because then it opens the way for smaller developers to come out and make a really good product, because the smaller developers that have limited resources, limited manpower, and all this stuff, put so much into making sure they get it right. Whereas these big studios that have a ton of money and personnel to throw at this are like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, we have a good example. Look at Shredder's Revenge. Shredder's Revenge.
Right.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, which also is a small indie studio, but got the funding by .emu, and it was very successful.
Yes, and it's a kick-ass game too. It's really solid.
Yeah. Now I totally forgot what studio that was.
We talked to them, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Just looking. What studio it was again? I just remember it was a French-Canadian studio. Tribute Games.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Tribute Games. Exactly. Yes. We had them on the show. We had the script writer Yannick Belzil. So
the bottom line is the moral of the story is support your indie developers, because.
But there are also positive examples. Take, for example, 2023, where they released a new RoboCop. You know.
Yeah.
RoboCop. What was it called again? Rogue City, right?
Okay.
Which they continued this year with a new RoboCop game, Unfinished Business, which is actually, both games is actually done by a AA studio, so not indie, but AA studio, called Tyron, and they are known for having gotten a name by a horrible rails shooter, Rambo, on the Rambo franchise.
Right.
But for whatever reason, it was commercially successful, and then they did a Terminator game that was also successful. And Tyron, which is a AA studio, they actually got funding by the publisher now I forgot. Nakon, which is a French publisher, and you might remember them under their former name, which was Big Ben. Big Ben was they used that brand in the past to make second party PlayStation 2 controllers, for example, or memory cards.
Okay, yeah.
But they are still doing second party controllers and peripherals for gaming consoles and stuff, but now they call it Nakon Gaming, so it's like a sub brand. And the big corporation in France. They call themselves now Big Ben Corporation, but the brands for the end users are called Macron.
Okay.
So, and they are actually the publisher of the RoboCop games, and they financed a Tyrant, which is, I believe, a Polish AA studio to make the RoboCop games, and the RoboCop games are actually pretty good for a AA studio that has almost AAA standard. It's a very good game. I mean, and they even got the financial backup to get Peter Waller voicing RoboCop in both games.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and they even got the license for all the characters, so they even look alike. Not like the coming Terminator 2 No Fate game by Bitmap Bureau, where they only got the license for the for the Terminators itself, right? And the other Terminator, but Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't look like himself. And all these things. But for RoboCop, they actually got all the license, even for the likeness of all the actors, which is amazing. So you are really playing both games, and the latest games, Unfinished Business. I mean, I didn't go very far, just make sure the game works. But you can even play as Alex Murphy in that game. So that's amazing, though. Whatever deal they struck to get the RoboCop IP, they got it fully, and not like 50% of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that's really amazing. So it does show, if you give enough financial backing and give enough time, you can actually release a cool game. Of course, now people, it has a bit of a backlash, but I guess that's actually the people's fault, because they used for Unfinished Business and for Rogue City, they used Ultimate 5 engine, which doesn't work with older graphics cards, because it does require DirectX 12 in a higher revision, because there are different feature levels in DirectX.
Right. Yeah.
So DirectX is not equals DirectX. There are DirectX feature levels.
Mm-hmm.
And with older games, you often can force the engine, the Ultimate engine, to run on DirectX 11, for example, or it uses an older feature level of DirectX 12. But Unfinished Business and Rogue City, both games are like na. So yeah, but I guess that is like, if you try to play it on a potato, you are left out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it runs on my PC from 2012 with the graphics card from 2017, which is 8 years by now. So I mean, it's not the latest configuration.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, but the good thing is about the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is that it will take a few more weeks till the people that bought the physical release have it, because that is done by limited run games. So you won't be noticing any of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for the others, they are already pushing out patches 2 per day almost. So they are patching it wildly now to improve it. Yeah. Now the question is, of course, how much it can be improved. I'm not so sure. Interestingly is what I've read about it. They didn't go with already existing emulators, and they didn't license that, and they also didn't go with dedicated emulator for each system. No, what they did is they made a general purpose emulator. Emulating everything.
Okay.
Arcade, Mega Drive, which is Genesis in America, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advanced, PC, Sega Saturn. No, not PC. No, the PC they left out. Sega Saturn. So the question is, was that a good decision? I don't know.
It remains to be seen.
Because the input lag, I don't know if that even can be fixed. They might have to, fix the emulator then, Of course, I see that a company like Warner Brothers, they wouldn't want to buy to pay a lot of licenses or making open source to some of their game collection, because it's a requirement by the open source usage terms, for open source emulators. So, or you have others where Nintendo is saying, nah, you're not getting permissions to use our ROMs. So I totally see the problem there. Though then I see where they were saying, like, okay, make something yourself from the ground up.
See, and that's with Warner Brothers, with their background of wasting money. You would think that something that would make them money would make more sense. They spent one of the things that I love about them is that they own HBO Max. Okay,
right.
So the streaming service. They paid a consultant,
which we don't have in Germany, but I know what you mean.
Right.
Yeah.
They paid a consultant something like $40 million. And that consultant told them, hey, you should change the name to Max. So they did. And it sucked. And then they paid another consultant like $80 million to say, hey, you know what? You should change it back to HBO Max. It's such a ridiculous, like Warner Brothers is one of those companies that just consistently makes terrible decisions business-wise. So, you would think that they could throw a couple extra bucks to license a working emulator. But of course, that would probably make business sense. So let's make our own and then deal with the ramifications of it sucking. That probably does sound more like what Warner Brothers Discovery would be doing. So never mind. I retract that argument.
I mean, this is not the first time this has been done. For example, we also had Dimitris Giannakis, Modern Vintage Gamer, on the podcast twice. One as him as a YouTuber and once as lead coder of limited run games, and they did something exactly similar. They made a new emulator engine for everything called Carbon Engine.
Right.
But they actually made it this way to not suck it. Because Dimitris is an expert in anything retro. He was part of the cracker scene in the 80s at the Commodore 64 times. Yeah. So he knows his stuff,
Yeah,
but also, I don't know who was in charge.
Warner Brothers also made the brilliant idea to merge with America Online in 2001.
Another good decision.
Yes, and they became AOL Time Warner, but that was a disaster, and they reverted to their original name in 2003.
That's probably why I never heard of that.
Yeah, it was a big thing. Like they just make these terrible decisions. Like it's like, oh hey, this whole technology is about to crash. Let's buy it so that we can crash with it.
Which is interesting that Warner Brothers is still around and kicking pretty much.
Yeah, well, they're currently, I believe that they are they're trying to sell them.
AOL or what?
No, Warner Brothers Discovery is trying to sell itself, I think.
Oh, Discovery. That's a different channel. Or
no,
whatever?
Warner Brothers Discovery is the company. And then I'm looking here what they're trying to do now, which is so they are. They're trying to sell themselves to. Where is this? I was just reading about this. Oh. They're I think they're trying to sell the company to Paramount Skydance. Another brilliant company that makes only good decisions.
Isn't Skydance the one that owns TikTok?
Maybe they also merged with Paramount a couple years ago, or not earlier this year.
And then you have other companies like Disney, who everybody says that whatever they touch, it will die.
Yeah.
And Star Wars still around, didn't die. I mean, we even had Ron Gilbert on the show, and he even used his quote that he used in our show for his promo. He will never be allowed to make a Mother Monkey Island. Disney allowed him to make him a Mother Monkey Island.
I would argue that maybe Star Wars should have died when Disney. So Star Wars.
I like the new movies that Disney did.
Even the last one. The Rise of Skywalker.
I liked them.
The Rise of Skywalker was like they crammed so much crap into it that you don't understand what's going on unless you get the summary book afterwards. You have to
but I still
backstory.
Still, I liked it.
The problem with the sequels with those is that throughout the other trilogies, the original one and the prequels, is that there was like a story arc that went over the whole thing. This one was kind of like every movie was ending on the let's see how you fix that. You know, they set up the whole thing to go find Skywalker in the first one. The first one was good. I liked the first one. The second one, it's like, all right, so now we've gotten to Skywalker, and now it's like the writer and director of that movie was like, okay, so we're gonna kill off the big bad guy. We're gonna kill off Luke Skywalker. We're gonna do all this stuff. Get yourself out of that hole. And then the last movie was just them trying to like ignore everything else that happened and cram as much bullshit as they can into it. But with like with making no sense at all. Like the map, it was a knife with a little thing that popped out and pointed at where the thing was in the Death Star. When was that knife made? How would they know the Death Star was going to be in that exact spot on the water when it was made, years later when they find it? Like, there's so much in that movie that makes zero sense. And then, but you got like Andor was a good TV show. I liked the Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah,
Kenobi
Andor
show.
is great.
I liked Ahsoka. That was a good one. The Acolyte. It's not my favorite, but I don't hate it. A lot of people despised it, and it got canceled. Or the what's the other? Oh, there was like a kids one with Jude Law. That was okay. Like, I wasn't for me, but whatever. But yeah, there's been some good ones and some bad ones, but yeah.
And there's more coming from Star Trek soon. Starfleet Academy.
See, and that's again the bad decisions that Paramount makes, because so they come out with Discovery, and a lot of people don't like Discovery.
I like it.
I don't mind it. It's not for me. I don't mind it if the problem I have with it is that we've got a whole cast of bridge crew that I know nothing about. We never explored anybody's stuff, and then every episode, Michael Burnham has to cry and do a speech. It's just kind of like, can we just not do that for once and just have a plot? But a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people did like Strange New Worlds. So we'll cancel it.
That's also great.
Yes, so we'll cancel it. People like Lower Decks, so we'll cancel it. People like Prodigy.
I thought the Lower Decks was too bloody for me.
Or people liked Prodigy. We'll cancel it. So what are we going to bring out now? People are and then Picard comes out. People love the third season, right? And people want that Star Trek legacy with Seven and whoever else on that ship, right? We want to continue with that. That's what people are clamoring for. So let's greenlight a Starfleet Academy series, which is a continuation of Discovery. Why? No. What about continuing? We're jumping ahead to the 32nd century. Continue from where we just were in the 25th.
Right. They are going backwards.
Right. Why do we have to jump that far into the future? Just keep on going.
No, you mean not future. You mean the past.
No. The Starfleet Academy is the 31st century.
Okay, it's the future.
That's where that picks up where Discovery left off, because the last season of Discovery they went into the future.
Ah, right.
So that's picking up from there. It's the
where they had to reestablish the academy from the small thing.
Right. Can we just?
Sorry.
But what about
the small thing that remained? Yeah.
What about the 700 years between where we left off in Picard and where we're picking up there? Like, and that's another thing, is that you can't really, people in the next generation, people were complaining that it's too advanced for the amount of time that has gone past. And then in Discovery, we're talking about they had holograms. It was too advanced for that time period. Now we're in the 32nd century, where basically everything is possible. Anything, your comm badge is a transporter. Your anything you need, programmable matter. Your nacelles, your engines float off the ship. How do you make that technology better? How do you increase that? That's like the pinnacle. There's no incremental step. It's like, this is like, how do you show advancement in that? It's real, just kind of I just wish that they could have spent more time in Discovery's fine. It's in the future. Leave it there. We'll get to there eventually. And they're trying to do they want to do a Star Trek Year 1 with the first year of Kirk's thing. It's like, why do we need to keep going back and doing prequels? They want to do
Kirk is always reappearing in one way or another.
They want to go do another one like a prequel of Kirk in the Academy. Why? Why do we need to see that? I don't care. I want to see new stuff. We don't need to keep going back in time. Oh, that was the other one. They're going to do a series that's based on Earth that is going to be like the very, very beginnings of Starfleet. Why? I don't care how it started. I don't want to jump 400 years in the past to learn about some shit. It's not important. Move forward.
Anyway, my point was, from all those big companies, Disney made the best decision so far.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, better than Paramount. Way better than Paramount.
So, they didn't kill off the franchise when they bought it.
Right.
And that is what often happens, yeah.
Yeah.
And now I wonder, Mortal Kombat was probably originally not from Warner Brothers, right?
Probably not.
Yeah. Now the question is Mortal Kombat. Midway. And before that it was Battle Midway, right? Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. Midway Games.
Midway, then Williams Entertainment, and then Warner Brothers.
Midway, Midway, formerly Midway Manufacturing and Bally Midway. Yes. So they're okay.
Yep.
And commonly known simply as Midway. Okay.
They were bought out by Warner Brothers.
Exactly. Yeah.
In 2010.
Yeah. Yeah, because I still remember Bally Midway. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, good for them, good for us that they didn't kill off the Mortal Kombat franchise, but still shitty how it went there. I mean, the collection is pretty bad right now, but at least you would say the last installments of the Mortal Kombat franchise was good. At least that. So I don't know if that is just with digital clips, if they just didn't give them enough time to make it a good product. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because what digital Eclipse does well is they all have this, interviews with original developers and materials from the 80s, from the original recordings, when the casting took place of the actor for the arcade game. Yeah. So the documentary part is amazing. But but as some YouTubers mentioned, people are buying the collection also to play it online with their friends that are not living around next door anymore, from 30 years ago, that they now could play again thanks to online playing. Yeah, well, we will see how it goes. I guess it will be a few patches down the road, and at some point it will be fine again.
Yeah, one would hope.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that would be.
Well, that's
my final
Despite not having much news, we babbled on for an hour 15, so yeah. So
it's at an hour 12 for me.
Yeah. I'm just rounding.
But wouldn't you round that down?
Well,
rather than up?
Yeah, probably.
You know how rounding works? Anything till 4.
I'm going in quarter-hour increments.
Ooh, okay. You do it this way. That way.
We should probably go talk to Maria Zubova now because she's been waiting.
Yeah.
So is everybody else.
True. That depends. Which crowd of listeners is listening to this one?
Yeah.
All right.
Well. Huzzah.
So, today we have another guest, and today we actually have Maria Zubova from Ensemble, a very known publisher that we covered usually at Gamescom every year, and their new games. But today we actually invite you to the podcast because we didn't talk at Gamescom. So thanks for coming today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Yes.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, well, perhaps because normally we do that with our guests, let's talk a bit about your starting point with computers and the gaming industry.
I mean, in my private life, I would say since childhood, I think it all started like in kindergarten or first class with a Game Boy Advance. And I'm a handheld first person. Sorry to all the PC Master Race people out there, but I don't know. I just loved having it always with me, going outside, playing with friends, and having a handheld console with me. So this is where it all started. And like business-wise, like after university, I think my first job in the games industry was around 2017. Yes. And immediately publishing. Actually, I wanted to be a developer, and now I'm on the dark side. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but it happened.
So you found your job by accident and decided to interrupt and abort your studies or something?
No, I finished my studies. I actually studied games programming for a couple of years because, like I said, I wanted to be a developer originally. And then, I mean, you know how it is. You just want to land your first job anywhere you can. And I wasn't sure at the end of my time at the university if I really want to develop games. So I thought, maybe just do something that is to get me into the games industry, like to take a step into it. And so I applied for a QA position, actually. So I started with QA, but at a publisher, not at a development studio. And it was basically, I think, my first or second application. And then they said yes, and I'm like, okay, let's move, let's do it.
Wow, that's
but
very
yeah,
lucky.
that's how it's. But yeah, I was very, very lucky and really, really grateful for that. But yeah, I mean, I technically studied something that has to do with something I do now. But technically, right now I'm a marketing and PR manager, by the way. And most people who do that maybe, I don't know, were journalists before or some kind of writing education. You know, usually, I don't know, something like that. But I didn't have that. But this is, I mean, really, really nice about the games industry that you don't have to be on paper perfect to go into it. You can, you know, cross the fields.
So you understand the pain of developers, kind of.
I mean, kind of. I only had like my student projects, and there I already understood the trouble and the hardship in it, but also the love for it. So it has like, it's like a coin with two sides. And I also know, of course, the struggle of developers from the publisher side, because everyone has problems. It doesn't matter if you are one person or 50 persons. It's just, yeah, everyone is struggling and everyone wants success, but it's very difficult to be seen and heard out there, as you know as well. And that's my job, to kind of help them with that, to be seen and heard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I actually read that you started out with Calypso, which was the predecessor of Ensemble, actually.
Kinda, you could compare it to the Puma and Adidas story. I think they had a company before and then they split and they made two separate companies. Mm-hmm. So we have a similar history that two guys founded Calypso and then one guy left, and the other guy who left is Stefan, my current boss, and he founded Ensemble Entertainment, and that's how things unfolded. And yeah.
Interesting. Yes. So so let's talk about what did you bring for us today? What can you tell us about?
What I can show you is a little bit like our Steam page and the recent releases and some kind, you know, some stories about it, like Steam in general, I think. What is your main platform you usually play on? Is it Steam?
Well, for me, it's Steam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For you too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
AJ is the No Man's Sky person. Whenever I see him pop him up on Steam, it's mostly No Man's Sky. You must have killed over 100 hours in there or something.
About 800 hours, I think.
800 hours.
Oh, wow.
Which is really surprising.
Like since the beginning, or did you jump in later when the reviews got better?
It was close to the beginning. It was like a year or two in.
Interesting. And would you recommend it now, trying?
Yes, yeah, it's entertaining. It's an easy way to lose a couple hours while you're trying to not do something productive.
There's so many games out there to lose a couple hours, but
yeah,
I get that. I get that. Yeah, I'm playing Clair Obscur right now, Expedition 33, also amazing game. But I'm quite happy it's not as long as Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Because I can't with these 200-hour games. I can't, so I don't want to be in your shoes with 800 hours.
The good part is that there is no ending to it, so it's like you can't really beat the game. You just keep going around in circles and.
Oh, okay, but that means you can always come back, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They are adding contents to it since 2016,
constantly.
since 9 years now. It's
yeah.
But good point. What we could also talk about now is how to keep games alive. There's also a very difficult task we also struggled with a lot.
That's actually a good topic with keeping them alive, because our podcast immediately preceding this will be Stop Killing Games.
Exactly.
With Ross Scott. So, yeah, it's salient.
All right, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Ensemble Entertainment.
Okay. Yes, that's us. Hi, this is no advertisement, by the way. This is not paid in any way. Okay, guys, so I just wanted to show you. So this is kind of where we want to get all the traffic on. This is like our Steam publisher page. Every time you visit a game, any game, you usually see the name of the developer and then the publisher if they have any. And when you click on that name, you get to this page. And why we want to get all the traction here, so because all the games are here in one screen, basically. You want to get increase that follower count because people get notified if any news pop up here in this section. Oh, it's German, by the way. Sorry, the UI. I can change it. Wait, I can change it. That's no problem.
Interestingly, Ensemble, I think your biggest hit were the two Larry games.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Actually, that's a really good topic to talk about. Where is it? Is it somewhere here? So the Larry games. Yeah, that was shortly after I joined the company. Actually, pretty cute story. My father also played the old Leisure Suit Larry games, and he learned English with them.
Ooh.
Yes, yeah, I know. I can't believe it. It's yeah. You just wanted to learn English, of course. But yeah, I joined the company, and then they say, yeah, we bought like the Larry license, and we can do new games. And then the first game was already out, I think, and then we worked on the second game. And so the story here is so. In 2020, on 18, when was it? Let me check. 18. So in 2018, how do you do a Leisure Suit Larry game? It's just like, it's so out of time, you know? It's so unmodern. It's so, but also nostalgic. People have very, like I said, for example, my father, he has very like nostalgic feelings towards the game. So the idea was, and this idea was actually from our CEO, Stefan, when we talked with the developers. So what kind of game can we do with that? So he had the idea that Larry would just wake up. He was like frozen, and then he wakes up in 2018 and is like faced with the current world, how it is, and has to kind of go his way and found his place in life. And during this like very cute journey, he's like kind of changing in character, but still stays true to himself. But it's just like a modernized version of him. Yeah, he still wants to be a womanizer. He still like wants to get the girls. But during the two games, they're like both connected. He falls in love actually, and kinda changes. And I don't want to spoil it in case anyone wants to play it. But yeah. Larry changed a bit, and I think it's good that he changed. So, yeah, that's the story behind Leisure Suit Larry. Yeah, and very unfortunately, the original voice actor from Larry Leffer has died like a couple of years ago, I think. So when people ask us we still get emails, will you do a third Larry game? We said, even if we could, it's I don't know. It's just people are so familiar with the voice, and I think it's just weird to have someone else. And yeah.
I mean, other projects did the same thing and changed voice actors. I mean, look at Simpsons, for example.
Did they? The Simpsons? I know that people left and they killed those characters off.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the German version, some people actually are not around anymore. Perhaps not for the American, but I know that for the American version, people are very unhappy with how the voice of Marge developed. Because the voice actor has troubles with her voice.
Yeah, 'cause she got old. I mean, that's just, but I mean,
that's just how it is, yeah.
But she sounds like Marge in real life, so it doesn't, that's just how she sounds.
It gets more authentic by the years.
Yeah. True. So, I wonder, you also made a second a second Larry adventure, right?
Yes.
But that is not very often talked about in comparison.
Yes. I mean, unfortunately, that's also a good topic we can talk about a little. It's just the span of attention, how to be seen, how to be heard in the games industry. I mean, with the first Leisure Suit Larry was very easy because you had like a very big name, a very big franchise, and the first game since decades. So, of course, that was like marketing PR-wise, just a big thing everyone was interested in. And then it kind of blew off. And then even though the community requested a sequel and it was still quite successful, still like the overall attention or like interested in it, especially like from like PR marketing journalist side, got lower because the big bang was already there, that there is a new game after decades and he's different and it looks modernized and he's not grooming, he's changing in character. What do you do? What did you do with my Larry?
Oh my god, that sounds dirty in a way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we had very mixed feelings about this take too, but I think I think the developers really were able to meet everyone in between. You know, it's like he's a bit changed. He just evolved. It's not like he changed. He just evolved in a way that feels natural. That, for example, he just falls in love and is not like has like hearty eyes at every woman he sees. He's like changed. But still at its core, he's kind of still the same. So
I actually wonder how the license was sold. I mean, was ALO no longer interested, or did Sierra just say, let's sell it? I mean, Sierra is around again. I mean, they made a new King's Quest 10 years ago. So, but obviously they were not interested in the Larry.
Yeah, actually, unfortunately, like I said, I joined the company, I think 2 years later after Leisure Suit Larry 1 released, or like Where Dreams Don't Dry. It came out 2018 and I joined 2020. But from like what we talked about at work, as far as I know, he didn't want to participate in any way in the game. So nothing you see from these two games was made with him, or like, you know, he did not like communicated with us at all. But regarding how he sold the license and what happened in between, that I didn't know. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know how it happened and why he did. But what I know is that when he saw what we made, he's like, I don't want to have anything to do with it. He's like,
oh, really?
That's quite harsh. Oh my god.
Yeah. That's why there were also some haters. Of course, there are haters when you do a game like that. Which is totally fine. I totally get it, especially if the original creator is not on board or at least like collaborating with you in any way. So it was like also by I don't know if you know, but both games were developed by a German studio actually.
I know. We had an interview with a Crazy Bunch.
Ah yes, oh cool.
And I know that when we interviewed them, in the comments on the YouTube video, there were people actually surprised how much they knew about the history of Sierra and their competition with Lucasfilm games, despite the young age of the developers. So the Crazy Bunch people really had a deep knowledge of the franchise.
Yes, they had. I think that's why this worked so well with them, because they knew. They just knew their games. They loved the old Larry games and all the other adventure games by Sierra as well. So they just knew the magic and love behind those games. So I think it was a really good fit with them. Yes, I loved working with them. They're really cool.
I love the fact that they're like philosophical and intellectual purists of the Leisure Suit Larry franchise.
Really?
Yeah. So what do we have in the in the oven right now for this year?
In the oven right now, I like that. Yeah. So we kind of changed our strategy. I know you know that we went from like bigger games like Leisure Suit Larry new titles to work on, we switched to indie games.
Right.
So,
Yes, I've read an interview with you yesterday where you actually stated that. Yeah.
Ah. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. So we kind of also, so for example, this game right here, Paddle, 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 maybe you saw it on some kind of stream because it went quite viral actually. Like it was from like English speaking, was like played by Ludwig. I don't watch him, but maybe AJ, you know him, Ludwig.
I don't know him.
Okay,
no.
then don't mind.
I do like the double entendre of seeing it on a stream as we're watching someone paddle down a stream.
Perfect. Yes. So this game, for example, was developed by one single developer. His name is Matteo, and his development label is Sorrow Arts. And yeah, he made the game in I think like just a couple of months, and then we saw it like on TikTok and other platforms, and we were like, oh, this is kind of, and we knew him already before from like his other games, or because we also do in Frankfurt, Germany, like the German Dev Days, which is like it's like a games convention, and he did a talk there, and we were familiar with him, and then we saw this game popping up, and we were like, oh, this looks super fun and just something very different we ever did before. We would like to work with you on that. And and then it turned out really, really well. And despite that, I think we signed this in July 25 we signed in June 25 and released in July. So it is very, very unusual for a publisher to sign a game and release it like 1 or 2 months later. But this happened. So, I mean, this is also what I like about the indie industry. It's like we are not tied to any rules. If you see a game you like and love and you want to work with it, something like this can happen as well. And we're working on a couple of updates on this game and seasonal updates and maybe DLCs, but let's see.
It looks like one of those frustrating games where you try not to fail, like only up or something.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's like I think the genre is called rage bait games.
Rage bait games, exactly. Yes, it is true.
Exactly. Yeah, I think, and like Only Up is like a single player, but this is really fun because it has like co-op, and I think Carry the Glass was a game where you both like carry a piece of glass and it shouldn't fall down or it shouldn't be destroyed. So games like these are working quite well at the moment, and they're just fun and So this was kind of cool to work on.
Especially for Twitch streamers. They love such games.
Exactly. This was really, really Twitch driven. Yes.
Yeah.
Then we have, you remember this game because I remember you had an interview with the developer, so I don't have to talk much about Ascot's Fall.
Perhaps let me ask you, was there a reason, a turning point where you decided we switch the portfolio from big titles to indie?
I think this kind of happened naturally, and because if you make bigger games, you can't publish and manage a lot of them, then the number of releases decreases, and it was just very natural. It just happened. It was not planned at all. But to be perfectly honest, of course, we also had issues after the pandemic, because in the pandemic, everyone was playing, everyone was buying, everyone was investing, and then, oops, no one could have foreseen that after the pandemic, everything drops down. So I want to be perfectly honest. Of course, this is also a decision we made because we had to reduce our costs, because also the, support from the German government regarding the games. You maybe are more aware of that issue. I actually don't know how it is in the US, by the way, AJ. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. But basically, so when in Germany the party at power changes, then also, of course, it changes how much the government funds games, movies, cultural things in general. And it was really, really difficult for us to fund bigger games with like 20, 30 people. Because we couldn't get the support from the government anymore. And to fund bigger games on your own, for example, Endzone 1 and Endzone 2 both received a funding of more than 1 million, I think. And we can't afford that. So this was kind of natural. It just happened on the way. But also, of course, there are other things that made this happen, to be perfectly honest. So that's why it happened.
Well, to your question, what I know about it, I only remember the story about the Amico console, where Hans Ippisch was getting money from the Bavarian state and the state of Bavaria, and as you probably know, they hit the wall with that, and the console never released, and the governmental money was lost on a dead before arrival product. So that's also a close.
That's interesting because I can't imagine much government funding going into the games industry in the U.S.
Yeah, for you it must be a shocker.
Yeah, sometimes like if it's a really big company and they are facing like, difficulties staying solvent, the government will sometimes give them inject some capital in there to keep them going. They did that with a lot with the auto industry in 2009. And then I don't know much about them doing it with the games industry. I know now that the actual government is buying up chunks of technology companies. Like a big chunk of Intel is now owned by the United States government. Which feels wrong somehow. But
yeah. Well, in Germany we had a history. We had some really big titles like Crisis, for example.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
And then we had a really big plunge where we had a lot of crunch scenarios and studios in Germany closing, and then the German government saying, "Oh, we have to rescue this industry and pump money into keeping Germany being a place for development of computer games." So, and it also in 2015 when this rating of computer games as preservable cultural good happened, that also kickstarted this movement of supporting game development even more. At least that is my feeling. I don't know how Maria thinks about it, but this is how I experience it from an outsider, I would say.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think there is an issue to begin with that it shouldn't need the government to support the business. But of course, if they struggle, then it's good that they support, because otherwise we would have much, much less games from Germany, which is kind of sad, because I like if every country can contribute their art to the pool of games. But yeah, I agree with you. It's money doesn't always solve the problems at its core. And I just think that it's, I don't know, it's, how do I say this? It's just kind of sad to me that we need the government to be able to be competitive with the rest of the world. You know what I mean? I just find it kind of sad, but I accept that it is how it is, and I'm happy that they still do it, because otherwise, the consequence would be much, much less output from us. We don't want that.
You also have to take into account the labor costs in Germany. I mean, for example, one of the bigger hits now, for example, on Steam is the recently released Dying Breed game that is a homage on Command & Conquer, including FMVs with real actors, and that game was done for a smaller budget in Uruguay, So even those countries are now competing with their
interesting
with their games in the market. So we have a lot from Latin America coming up, or South America. Yeah. So the consequence is you are staying more afloat by supporting indie studios rather than big projects. But if there was a chance to have a big IP and get it, would you still take it?
I mean, getting the IP is not all, right? You have to also be able to pay the developers.
Yeah, that comes down to like which is more financially like makes more sense, like having 20 indie games or one big AAA title, you know, like
exactly what we were talking about. Does it make sense to make like 10 smaller releases a year, or to it's just like a high risk it's just a risk situation, because if you put everything, all your hopes, all your money into one game for 2 years and then it flops because Steam is how Steam is, everything can be showing signs of success. For example, many wish lists, great feedback on the demo. You can have everything right. You have cool art style, cool genre, nice experience, fun game. You can have everything, and still you could release and just fly under the radar. This can all happen, and that's why it's kind of risky to put all hopes into one project. But if you do it right, then it's cool, because then of course you can live longer from that. But we kind of changed to have more smaller titles in a year rather than having one bigger one. Yeah.
But the other side of the coin is, if you have more smaller games, you need to put more work into being discovered, because a big IP people know, but smaller IPs people have to get warm with it, you know.
Yes.
In a way.
Welcome to my life. I think you get to the bottom of this. So yeah, this is exactly my life. So I have to put a lot of work into it to convince people, explaining them what makes the games great, make sure they have enough wish list on release, make sure everyone who should play it has a code and everything. So because it's indies and you talk with them so much more, I mean, maybe if you have a bigger studio, you have like a one point of contact. You don't talk with every person from the studio. But with indies, it's like, I know everyone. And of course, you build a much, much deeper connection with them. And then, of course, I even more want to satisfy their needs. And I mean, we are a team, right? We don't have only a contract together. We are a team working on the project. I see it like eye to eye. That's why even more I want them to be happy and satisfied, which results in more work hours than needed. But I mean, I wouldn't do it if I wouldn't love it. So but you're right. This is the other side of the coin. Of course, you need people who work a lot, and you need to make the developers happy. You have to also make your team happy, because we all want a good release. So yeah, that's kind of the struggle. Yeah.
So what's the next big thing this year?
Yes. So actually, we have some exciting things coming up in October. A couple of upcoming games. 2 of them are actually coming out already by the end of this month. We're talking mid-October, by the way. So Deck Tamer, I mean, if you are familiar... Oh, wait, I have to click like this. If you're familiar with games like Slay the Spire, or like in general roguelike deck building games...
I got some free games on Epic Store, but I never played those card games. But I know what they are. But I'm not the target group.
I get that. Yeah, I also never played like Slay the Spire or Monster Train or these kind of games. But for this game, what is really nice and unique is that you don't have like only a roguelike deck builder, but also you have like creature collection and monster taming in it. So kinda Slay the Spire meets Pokemon, kinda, because you don't just like open packs and have cards and then play with your deck. You kinda tame the cards, the monsters. You can also fuse them. They can also evolve, because as the story is that there's like a researcher going deeper and deeper into the abyss, and the deeper he goes, the more abyssal the creatures are getting, and more monstrous and everything. And that's kind of the basic story, but in general the hook is that it's combining these two things, and it's making a lot of fun because you kind of start to care for the cards, which is so weird. Because if they like die, they're like gone, and you can't like replay the deck at all. So that's why it's a roguelike still. That's kind of what makes this game, I think, very interesting, is that you start to care for the monsters, for the cards. I think actually, by the way, for marketing, a good game name is so important. It's so important. I also agree that this game, for example, has a perfect name. It's short, it's unique, and it explains what the game's about in one word. That's very rare, very, very rare.
Well, you haven't seen Mega Drive games and their naming.
Tell me one.
I mean, for example, one that we covered on is Peprium, which is one of the biggest brawler with a big scandal attached. And why would you call it Peprium? It doesn't sound amazing, Peprium, yeah. If you Google for it, you can read all about the horror, how the game almost never made it to be around. So
But just the name though, Paprium, it sounds like something you put ointment on.
Yeah, it sounds like food or spice or something.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, did you buy the Preprion? Oh no, I forgot it.
Exactly, yeah. So Peprium is the name.
Interesting. I will look it up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, normally brawlers have names like Battle Axe or something, But
Metro Siege.
Exactly. But they decided for something soft and undefinable in this way. Yeah.
I saw a quite interesting blog post from one of our developers that he thinks that games are getting more and more or like evolving more and more in the way like anime is doing. I don't know if you guys watch any anime, but
Ghost in the Shell is the one that I watched to improve my English, actually.
That's your English learning story.
That's my English learning story. I watched it like 3 times, and the first time I didn't understand a word, and then the second time I understood like 50%, and then for some reason I watched it a third time, and it was making click, and I was like, oh my god, now I can talk in English properly somehow. it's super weird, yeah. So it was not only Harry Potter books; it was also Ghost in the Shell. Yeah.
Gotcha. And the thing with anime currently is that there's a specific genre called isekai. Isekai is just like the word for a person wakes up in another world, like in a fantasy world or something. It's just the name of it. And the thing is that their titles are kind of weird. Like, I don't know, I maxed out my stats and now I am in the dungeon defeating the boss. That's like the name. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And he said that he thinks that this trend is kind of maybe going to games, or I mean, he says it's he's afraid of it because he wants to give games like a personality and make like his own thing out of it. But he thinks, okay, maybe I have to think first how people will receive what kind of game this is if they read the name. And that's the easiest way, if you just say in a whole sentence what the game is about. So he's afraid that this development is jumping from anime maybe to games. But you heard it here first, guys. If this ever happens in the next years, you heard it here first.
Yeah, normally it's if you talk about long names, it's probably like The Legend of Zelda or whatever. So it's like more I don't know how to say fantasy titles.
Mm-hmm.
Long fantasy titles,
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But those are normally the exceptions in the video game world. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've seen. I get occasionally. I'll get ads for. I don't know even what it's like. I guess it's a manga comic, but they've kind of turned it into a video with AI or something, and they always have like these stupid titles. These unnecessarily long, like my my friends didn't think I could do the thing in high school, and blah, blah, blah. It's like a paragraph explaining.
That's exactly what I mean. Yes.
It's like, why do I need to watch this? You just explained everything that's going to happen.
Right.
Yes, but yeah, let's see if games will be like that one day. Please no.
Yeah.
So yes, and you asked me about another game we're releasing also this month.
Made Fear.
Yes.
Oh.
I hope you're all big Resident Evil or Silent Hill fans.
Oh yes, Resident Evil. I played with friends on gaming evening. We killed hours in that game.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
In not only one way. So.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, this is also done by a solo developer. Actually, AJ from the US, I think from California, Roseville. Is there a city called Roseville in California? I hope so.
I believe so, yes.
If not, then California it is. Yeah, his name is Michael Cosio, and he's doing his, I think, fourth game with us now, actually. And he does only indie horror games. And this time he said he really, really would like to do something like more with a Silent Hill, Resident Evil vibe. So that's why he decided also to have like these PlayStation 2 graphics, as you see, or PSX era graphics, as they say sometimes. So you really get that nostalgic feeling. And of course, you have very typical for these kind of games like fixed camera angles, limited save slots, limited ammo, limited everything to make it like more interesting. And we also received very, very good reception on this. I think, I think the demo is also live. We can flash. Made Fear. I can pull up the demo page. Is it live still? Yes, it's live. So, for example, also very important in marketing is to market a demo before launch, because word of mouth is helping if you have a really good rated demo on Steam. And as you see, reception was really great, and it's kind of in the trend right now. People are really loving and missing these kind of games, I noticed.
Especially, which is surprising because there has been Silent Hills recently.
Yes, and Resident Evil still, but I think maybe the thing with they are like more modern and like evolving, but this is like really more like the classic Resident Evil games. So,
now that you mention it, the last Silent Hills weren't so much in the favor of the fans. True. Interesting that you mentioned that the demo is still live. I saw there is a trend in demos being removed from Steam as soon as the full game is out.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, interesting, because we go completely against that. We usually always have the demo live on Steam if the demo is still representative of the full game.
Yeah, that's actually the case. Some games they argue that saying the demo is so much technical minor comparison to the full game that we shouldn't keep it up because it doesn't represent the final product quality. So could be.
Yeah, we exactly the same. If we have some games where we put down the demo because the demo is maybe 2 years old to the original release, and then of course the game it just doesn't represent the game anymore at all. But for some games, especially if the demo is not too old, then we keep it up, because I think it's a really nice way for people to just have a try, to not be restricted by this, what is it, 2 hours before you can refund? I think it's 2 hours, right?
2 hours, 2 hours.
Yeah. We want to give people and players the possibility to try out the games and not be like rushing and, oh no, my time is up. I don't know. I just like try it if you don't want to buy it, because maybe you don't have the money for it. Maybe you have to pick and choose what you play. All good. Just try the demo, and then if you like it, buy it on discount or whatever. But usually we keep it up, actually.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good marketing strategy too, because that's again, that's something that used to be done quite a bit. I remember the first time I played Tomb Raider was on was as a demo that came on like a CD full of like, old Mac software, and I played it on that, and it's like half of the first level or something. And of course, that makes you want to get the game, because it's like, okay, what's next?
That's actually true. It's interesting that you mentioned it. In the 90s, CD demos on CD was, especially for the PC master race, as Maria said, was quite common. And I didn't want to make you laugh. I hope it's fine.
Okay.
And not that we have an accident here. And then somewhere in the mid of the 2000s, when Steam was coming around, it tried out. There were less and less demos of full games, and suddenly there are demos again coming up. So it's kind of returning that now we have games showing demos, especially when budget and the pockets of players are tight, and they are deciding where we want to go. And that also comes into play with games becoming considerably cheaper again. I remember last year, and at the beginning of this year's, they were discussing game prices to be $80 or something for the standard non-premium version. And suddenly I see games becoming cheaper again. So it's all an interesting development in the game industry.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, GTA 6 will probably very, very surely will be $80. But I was also really surprised when I think it was when the first PS4 games popped up. They were also like 70. What was it? The roguelike game Returnal? Was it Returnal? I think Returnal and Demon Souls. They were like, I think the first not 70, $80, of course, €80. And I was like, oh my god, that's like, I don't know, 5 indie games.
Yeah. For me, the first game on that price range was actually Need for Speed Unbound last December, shortly before Christmas. That is why I remember it so well, because I bought it from my Christmas money from my mom. I was like, oh my god, this is like the most expensive PC game I've ever bought, So I remember that bit. So it's interesting how things develop. Yeah.
But why do you say that games got cheaper? Where did you kind of?
I mean, if I look at the games that I'm currently playing, I don't know. Well, I have the feeling that the games I play now are not in this price range anymore.
Ah, okay.
Maybe that's just the games you're playing.
Perhaps that's the games I'm playing. Yeah. That's also true. Yeah, I mean, GTA 6 probably will be an exception, because Rockstar know they can ask for it.
Will it ever actually be out though? Because hasn't GTA 6 been delayed for about a decade?
The same was with 5, and still came out. I mean, look at Red Dead Redemption. Took 15 years to come out on the PC.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, poor PC.
It still came out. Yeah.
Poor PC Master Race people.
I know, right? People were like, they will never release it on the PC, and suddenly they were like, we release it for full price, no discount, yeah.
Someone should tell my PC it's supposed to be part of the master race because it didn't want to start today.
Very bad.
Yeah.
How dare he?
It doesn't get used often, but
when
it does, it always disappoints.
But yeah, do you guys? I mean, when the first games came out that cost like $80, what was your take on that? Like in general, do you think it's fair that games are getting pricier, or that a certain kind of games are getting pricier? What's your take on that?
I think it depends on what I'm getting for it. If it's a game that is gonna is gonna give me like 10-20 hours of play and is well done and potentially has add-ons or something down the road, then it might be worth it to me. If it's something that is going to be, that isn't too in depth or just is disappointing all around, yeah,
it's a difficult question. I think it's just there are so many factors. Like, okay, is it okay to price it more because it costs more? So is it okay to have like all these games that cost like, I don't know, 5 million or something, that they cost more? Does it depend on the number of people working on it? Doesn't depend on the playtime? Honestly, I don't know what's fair. I think I could not say, oh, I know what is fair for everyone in this situation. But I think I understand that like there's these really, really, really big AAA games get pricier. What I don't like and don't understand is all this collectors blah blah edition.
Yeah, that's
that's a development I don't really support. I get that you have like a premium version with some extra stuff and extra goodies. I totally get that, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. What I don't like is
because it's like you're no longer getting the full game despite you pay a premium price for it, right?
Yeah, well, what was that big scandal? Was it a Capcom game or something? There was some kind of game released this or last year where when you buy the add-on content, then you were able to do something like save the game or fast travel or something like that, like a mechanic. So I don't remember the game, unfortunately.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If it's like an $80 game and I'm going to be required to buy add-ons, like if there's going to be in-game purchases or DLC that you got to pay for, at that point, no, it's not worth the $80 for it. The Flight Simulator is it's up there. I don't remember what it was, like $70, $79, something like that. If I was going to purchase it, no, it's not worth it to me.
Yeah, I get that.
Because, there's a lot of stuff that's built into it, but there's also, there's paid add-ons. There's other things that you have to keep dumping money in to actually get the most out of it.
Right, yeah. I mean, you have a lot of free-to-play games that have this thing,
And that's a different story. If it's a free-to-play game and there's relatively inexpensive DLC, then okay, I can get behind that because the game is free and I don't need the DLC for the thing to function, But if they're already asking for a premium price and it's like, and now for this little bit more, you can, do this vitally important thing that you need for the game. It's no.
But yeah, it's a difficult question, I think. And I think this will also change in the future.
I mean, I remember how it was in my childhood when my parents had to decide between Sega games and Nintendo games, We're like, okay, Nintendo is like 20 German marks cheaper, so you're getting the Game Boy games, right? It doesn't have color like the Game Gear, but it's 20 marks cheaper per game. So in the end effect, you are getting more games for the same money. So, and it's like what a lot of people do on Steam now. They are just waiting for a discount.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And they happen all the time on Steam. Sorry.
Well, that depends. There are some games that never get a discount.
Yes, I think isn't it like Satisfactory or Factorio or something like that? One of these two games never, I think so, Satisfactory or Factorio, one of these two games never did a discount. They don't need it.
I think I saw a discount on Satisfactory.
Really? Then it's maybe Factorio.
Perhaps it's Factorio, yes.
No, I'm not sure of this.
No worries.
No guarantees here.
I'm actually looking through Steam trying to find expensive games.
I mean, just look for the big studios or big publishers. I mean, then you can find the.
The other thing is would be like how long is support for it going to be? Because there's like sports games. EA puts out NBA 2026 or NHL 2026 every year. I don't want to spend $70 every year for what is essentially the same version of the game with updated rosters.
Yeah. I agree, but so many people do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Without questioning. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Are you guys, for example, into like Battlefield 6 that just came out right now? I don't play Battlefield at all, but like for me, it's like FIFA. I see differences like in the graphics, of course. It's like cool that now if you shoot a building, it's actually falling apart. It's really cool. But you know what I mean? I get the same feeling with like, isn't this just the same over and over?
I have to admit, I'm more the PUBG guy, so.
I also played PUBG a lot, like 100, 200 hours, but yeah.
I mean, it depends on how big your pile of shame on Steam is.
Oh gosh.
How much you can divide your gaming hours.
Yeah, I thought when the Steam Deck came out that this will help my pile of shame, because then it's just, okay, I can play all these summer sale games I bought for $3 and then just play them on holidays or something. Guess what I never did? Buy a Steam Deck and play these games.
Right.
Pile of shame is never decreasing.
By the way, I see on the screen the next game, right?
Oh, yeah, I just this is a game we already released. It's called Growth. It's I think from last year, actually. No, I wanted to show you a different game that is upcoming for us. I just didn't want to spoil it yet. It's kind of similar to Asgard's Fall because they share the genre. It's also Survivors-like. Called Grind Survivors, thus the name. Yeah. It has more of a mature art style, kinda Diablo-esque, I would say, for me personally. No, I'm not saying this is Diablo, guys. But like,
no
from the...
please.
Please, no, don't take my word. But it's like art-wise, setting-wise, a bit. It goes in that direction. It's darker, it's more mature, it's 18 plus, it's a lot of blood, it's a lot of guns, so yeah. The interesting thing about this Survivors-like is that you collect weapons during your runs, and then you can fuse and upgrade them and improve them and evolve them. But like with weapons, not like in Vampire Survivors, you have like special skills, and here you have a weapon arsenal. Oh wait, there was it in the trailer. I think it shows it. You get the idea. Everyone who sees this get the idea. It's a lot of bullets. It's a lot of enemies. And just enjoy slaying them. And upgrade your skills and weapons and everything. And yeah, we announced this actually at Gamescom and launched it along with a playtest on Gamescom. And yeah, now we're working on a launch for next year. And yeah, playtest also went really well. I think, does it show here? I don't have my... There are some cool Steam Chrome editions to show you some kind of stats, because then I could have seen the stats from the playtest, but I think we had around like over 500 players a day or something like that. It was for an unknown game or IP at all. That's very, very good. No, there are no stats. Here are the stats. Okay, there's like the death stats, total numbers. Where do we have the player count? Fellow demons. No, it's just like the different stats in the game.
A total number of players.
Where? What? Where?
If you scroll up again. Yeah, here.
Up?
No.
Here. That's like the total number of people who have, I think, either downloaded the playtest or booted it. But yeah. Awesome, 20,000 almost. I didn't know. Yeah. I wasn't up to date. I forgot this.
What are good numbers for an indie game once it's released, as far as sales go?
I mean, that depends on the number of wishlists. There are indie games which have 10,000 wishlists at launch. Some have 100,000. Some are Silksong and have like billions. But personally, I mean, of course, it depends on the size of the team and of the project. But in general, to be on that Steam front page for popular upcoming list, you need to have ideally something between 10 and 15,000 wishlist. For example, this game right now is, I think, around something between 20 and 30,000 wishlist. And which is quite good for a freshly announced game that it's not planned to release this year, but like half a year later. And what is also really nice and important about the announcement is that the announcement can kind of tell you how many wishlists you will collect on your way until the launch. So you can kind of calculate that. And then, of course, you can, from the wishlist, then calculate estimately how many people will buy it. But the problem with wishlist is that wishlists today don't promise a success, really. You can have, for example, do you know the game Wandering Village by chance?
I do not know.
A strategy game. Yeah, just an example, it was like a very, very, very successful city building game that launched into early access. And then they thought, because they have like 400,000 wishlists or more, that all these players are waiting for 1.0 and will buy the game when it's releasing. Turns out the number or the percentage of people who did that was really, really low. So yeah, in short, I just want to say wishlists do not promise or guarantee success, but it gives you at least some kind of hint where it could go. I mean, personally, I also have like 300 games on my Steam wishlist and probably will never buy them. Yeah, for me, it's more like a follow thing. I don't know. How do you guys use the wishlist feature?
Yeah,
do you really buy games from your wishlist? Be honest.
I think it's a little about 50-50. Yeah, about 50% of it are things I'm just following because I'm interested for some reason, and then the others are stuff that I actually want to play.
Okay, got it.
Well, I mean, for me, I must be honest. It depends on, well, if, for example, if I'm waiting for a game that is a successor of an IP I played as a child, for example, soon Slime Sorcerer is coming up, the new Slime Sorcerer Origin, then I'm wishlisting it and I know I will buy it once it's out. So, and then you have those games that you find by accident because like you like this game, you might also like that game, and then you put it on the wish list. But I have many games on the wish list that I never buy because I actually try to keep my pile of shame low.
Oh, so
but I'm not very successful.
Your pile of shame
there.
is organized. Oh, it's not. Okay, never mind.
Not very successful. No.
I'm also kind of notorious for buying games and then never actually opening them once.
Oh no, that's not what I'm opening them. I'm playing them, but I have a lot of games that I never finish playing. I mean, I guess my worst contender would be King's Quest 7, which is from 1995 or something, and I never finished it. I don't know. It's then you have some other games, and you are like, oh, I want to finish this first because I'm currently, well, how to say, attached to the game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So then like, okay, I will do that later, and yeah. So sometimes I'm taking years, and sometimes I'm stuck in a game. For example, adventure games, and then like 2 years later, like, oh, this was easy, and then you just finish it like nothing.
Oh God, yes, that's so funny when you think a game was so hard when you played it when you were a bit younger, and then you're like, what? Why? It's so easy.
I did that on the Game Boy a lot, where I had games like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and as a child I would never finish the game, and as an adult it's like 20 minutes and I reach the end screen. I was like, okay, I'm slower because my reactions are not as good as a kid, but I have better strategy as an adult to work around the obstacles, so that's kind of evening out the lack of reflexes.
You're like your logical thinking.
Right. Yeah. So
interesting.
That's for me the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I also experienced that I wishlist a game on Steam, and then it's so long on my wishlist that it comes out on Switch, and then I just buy it on Switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's also a
works.
thing I have. Or sometimes I don't have an Xbox console. I don't use Game Pass, so I just use PlayStation Plus. And I don't know. For example, I always wanted to play the Alan Wake games, but I don't know. It just never happened. You know how it is. Sometimes games are just going beside you and you never touch them. And then I had the Alan Wake remaster, I think, on PlayStation Plus. And then I played so many other games in the meantime that Alan Wake 2, the new one, is also on PlayStation Plus. So I have both games now, and I'm like, yeah, okay, perfect. I know what I play on Christmas now. But it's like, this took like, I don't know, several years to get it. But yeah. And yeah, like I said, I don't know. I think Hollow Knight or something was also on my wish list for years, and I never played it. And now I have it for free through PlayStation Plus, or I don't know. Yeah, many other games. Stardew Valley, I don't know. I played them. I prefer playing on Switch, to be honest. Like I said, I grew up with handheld, so it's kind of what I prefer.
Interesting question, by the way. What's your opinion about the Switch 2? I mean, I saw a lot of negative reviews, feedback.
Oh, I love it. I bought it immediately as soon as I could, actually. I just because
expensive and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if it's the console you really want the most, then I don't know. I actually don't care, but
Wow.
I sound so privileged. Oh my god. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you how much it costed, to be honest. I forgot it. I don't
care how much it costs. Money doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. No, it's like, I don't know. I really didn't. I really wanted better performance and better. I'm just, maybe I'm the PC master race of consoles. As soon as I see better performance and better graphics and better display, I really, really want it. As soon as I know, if I get the PlayStation 4 now, instead staying on the PlayStation 3, then my loading time is like 80% faster, and I don't know, then I buy it immediately. No joking, but to be honest, I'm pretty happy with it because of all these things, because the games are looking better and everything is a bit faster. And I like that it's a bit bigger now, the screen and the console in general. I can't say anything. I'm happy with it. But what was the backlash? The price or
price? Yeah, yeah. A lot, especially the games are very expensive. They say.
Oh yes, that I totally don't like as well. But I don't play them. I have like so many. I have like my second pile of shame now on Switch. So I have like so many cute and cool indie games on it that I'm like I can like play for 2 years straight on, and I don't need to buy anything. Yeah, but yeah.
And I think the biggest scandal recently was the new Borderlands and their price structure and the hardware requirements and the CEO of the company just saying, buy a better PC.
Also very privileged response.
Right? Like why should we optimize our Ultimate 5 engine of the game? Just get a better PC, you know?
Yeah, I remember the statement was really like provocative and many people didn't like it. But I actually I don't like the statement or stand behind it, but I get what he means, because we also have the problem that many people, for example, complain that the game's not running, and then they have like Windows 8 and a 10-year-old, 15-year-old PC, and like, why is it not working? I'm like, look at your PC, look at your DX file and see what you have. So yeah, but
hear
still,
that, PC?
Yeah.
Junk.
Yeah, but it's never okay to tell people, yeah, just buy the new stuff. That's never okay. I totally don't like that as well. It's never okay to tell people, yeah, just buy the new thing. Yeah, not cool.
Yeah, I mean, especially Ultimate. No, you know, what is one to say?
You mean Unreal?
Unreal 5. Yeah, this engine is known to be notorious for being badly performance-wise if you don't put a lot of effort into optimizing your game for it. It's not like you can make a carbon copy of Unreal 4 and just say, okay, I do the same thing with Unreal 5. It's a bit more complicated. Yeah. But I'm not a developer. I'm just talking out of my ass from what I've read. You know? So.
No, all good. You can do that. That's why we're here.
That's true. Well, we can talk all day about it, right? Yeah, well, so...
Yeah, that were the upcoming games, actually. That took quite some time, but we also talked a lot beside it.
Yes, exactly. We sidetracked
it was fun. Yeah, but these are like the upcoming releases. I told you some of the most recent releases. But yeah, that's kind of our journey. That's the journey of a publisher.
Interestingly, I saw no games with pixelated retro forcing graphic style or something.
You mean like pixel art, or what do you mean? Oh, we have a lot of pixel art games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you guys did High Risers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
High Risers. We have here like Cuna. Oh wait, I need to. Does it show? No, it shows this screen, so I have to click here. Sorry. Yeah, we have like Cuna, for example, which is like a pixel art adventure game.
Yeah, but those are older releases.
You're talking about the nothing upcoming that's pixelated.
Exactly, nothing upcoming. Exactly.
I think. Actually, you're right. Oh no, Mira, you even know, because I showed it to you at Gamescom last year. Yeah, this is pixel art Metroidvania. Yeah. But so we have only one. But in general, we have, I would say, many pixel art games. Asgard's Fall, for example, is also a pixel art game that's in early access right now.
Was Fall of Porcupine?
No, that's 2D. That's 2D.
Okay. I'm just trying. I got a list of the ones because we talked to them and
yeah.
as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we had quite a lot of guests from the ensemble publishing realm, I would say. Yeah, that's true. true. Quite a lot of interesting games coming up with interesting game concepts that haven't been there before.
Yeah, I think that's also what I like the most about working for an indie publishing company is that you work with all kinds of games and you don't do like only city builders or only RPGs or only platformers. It's just a mix of everything. That's what I like the most. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be more kind of rewarding in that you're able to, like you said, you're dealing with a lot of different things instead of that one big title you gotta hawk no matter what. It's, you've got different teams and genres and.
Yeah, but I mean, if I look into the indie or into games that were a spiritual successor of other franchises, for example, let's say Tempest Rising, which is a Command and Conquer spin-off, I would almost say. A lot of those games switch publishers midway, So we had that a couple of times where we had like interview appointments and then like, oh, we can't do this interview anymore because the publisher changed.
But why? For what reason did the publisher change though?
Well, they didn't tell, of course. But I guess sometimes it's like, okay, we want to release this game now, and the developer studio says, no, it's not finished yet. No, we release it now because the money is trying out, and then it's like, oh, okay, well then we have to part ways, kind of. Because what also happens in those cases when they switch publishers, that also the game is delayed for another year. So that's why I think it's mostly, saying, okay, we want to put more time into, polishing the game,
Yeah, I think we never had that case. I'm just thinking through all the games, but I think we had the case that a developer was separating or like ending the contract with another publisher or something, and then going to us, or then we met and then it fit, and yeah, but like 1 or 2 times. But yeah, I think what happens, of course, is for example, if a game releases on Steam and you have a contract with them, and then, for example, either you have a contract where it says, okay, your partnership is like forever, ever, or if you can cancel the contract like 5 or 10 years after the launch, then if the developer wants to do it, they can do it. So they manage the game by themselves post-launch.
You generally want to have a good relationship between publisher and developer, or it's publisher and an author or anything else, within that.
Of course,
that kind of genre.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never understood these. I mean, from all the stories, all we read online, all these publishers here, developers here, thinking. I never understood that, because for me it's like it never was a you are here and I am here thing. It's we see eye to eye, we work together on one project. I don't know. For me it's like it doesn't make sense at all. It's I don't know. For me it's like super weird, but it happens, I guess, with all working relationships. Hierarchy like this happens. Maybe that's also a big plus in indie publishing, is that because the relationship is automatically different, because I don't give a person $500,000 and then of course I maybe develop some kind of feeling of I have the right to say or do these things because I paid you or gave you this amount of money. I don't know. Maybe this kind of develops, but maybe this is better in indie publishing, because the more success you have, the more success we have. So it's more bonding, and you both want to be successful. And for the other concept is maybe there's this power thing, demand thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you've also got, with indie developers, you've got a small number of developer that you're working with. So it's a small a small team or even an individual, and then you. Whereas with a larger game, you're going to have a team of 70 people working on this thing, and it's hard to have that kind of interpersonal, like a good working relationship with a group of people. Then it's much easier to have that one-on-one sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then you have a third kind of studio that would be AA studios, not AAA, that take a license of an IP. For example, I think the most famous example was the last two RoboCop games. Went to a AA studio, and they were very successful with it. Despite the small team and the low amount of budget, so
yeah, it can work. I just think that there are so many cases where these kind of situations work out, so many cases where it doesn't, and I think where it doesn't, it's not people. Okay, of course, it can be also a people or money problem because maybe they were not experienced enough or something. But I think the most important thing is like expectations. If you work for an existing IP, expectation is so important. So important. For example, at the company I worked before, Calypso, that's kind of the main thing they're doing. They're buying old IPs and doing remastered, remakes, sequels to existing IPs. And I don't know, for existing community and for an existing franchise, I think the expectation is just so much higher rather than for something new or something indie. And for example, we experienced this a lot with the Commandos franchise. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Yes.
With the Commandos games, the expectations were so high, and of course it was difficult to meet them. And I don't know. I would not like to be in the shoes of a developer who has to take this task. I think it's very difficult, actually, to meet the expectations of old players and then on the other side satisfy the new, because it has to be modernized, but then it still has to feel nostalgic and cool and chaos.
It's a big issue, yeah. But then you also have things like Kite Racing getting the license to work on From the Craw for Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, and they totally literally they drove the game to the wall, But those things are often always online requirement or de novo copy protection and all those things that come into play that you guys as indie publishers don't have to deal with, right?
No. We never sold a game with in-app purchases, loot boxes, whatever. These kind of things. No security issues, no data. I don't know, all these things. No launcher. Launcher is actually very annoying to people.
Yes, it is. It's extremely annoying.
Yes. Oh, I hit a nerve here.
Yeah.
I think the most famous example was Bethesda giving up their launcher because it was so horrible, and they were okay, we are moving to Steam now because our Bethesda launcher didn't work so well. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean that's a big issue. You have a Steam version, but you still need the launcher because it's a requirement,
Yeah, if this would annoy me. Yeah, I remember when I also played the Sims franchise a lot when I was younger, and then I also really didn't like to have the EA launcher.
Oh my God! Don't even talk to me about the EA launcher.
On the Mac, it's not very.
On the Mac. On the Mac, it runs no matter what. It's in the It's a background process all the time. Even if you rebooted the machine, you never opened it. But it also, on a laptop, it keeps the dedicated video activated. It uses that. It won't let you use the integrated video. So if you're on a battery, your battery will drain in milliseconds just because this thing has to live in the background. doing
gosh.
nothing.
Oh.
Yeah,
oof.
it's not good at all.
Aye.
Yeah.
Right, but perhaps before we wrap this up,
the upside with some of these, especially like with Steam, I can, and again, maybe it's not this way on PC. On Mac, I can open my games without opening Steam. They're an icon in there. I can most of them I can get on there without bothering to open Steam.
Depends on the game. Depends on the game.
Steam is not, that doesn't have that kind of overhead where it's, killing your battery and everything. It's, you just minimize it and you don't worry about it. Also, I've been sitting here on this for a couple of minutes now.
Yeah.
You mentioned AA studios, and I was thinking that we need to give like the indie studios a better name. So maybe like 9-volt, AA, AAA,
Yeah,
for listeners, that was a sight gag. I just held up a 9-volt battery.
No, interestingly enough, I think you said something very important. There was like a name for it. It's called an event to kind of start giving indie games more quality and more like showing that. It's called the Triple I Initiative. It was like an event made by some developers from Evil Empire and some other people. And it's basically like Gamescom opening night live and all these events, but just indie games. But like higher quality, high production indie games. That's why the naming Triple I, that was their idea. And I think it's pretty cool. I don't know, like maybe there's a list of games. Here it is. Okay, this was this year and this is last year. So here, like, this was from Evil Empire. Slay the Spire 2, for example, was announced during this showcase. V-Rising, Palworld, Risk of Raid. So you see some pretty decent games, but they actually go under that's us here. Ta-da!
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I also saw Pro. Well, if you scroll up, Protato. That's also a very nice game. Yeah.
Very nice game. So basically what you see here are many games, big size, small size, but they all go under the indie umbrella. And this initiative was created exactly for this case. So it's just perfect that you mentioned it, because I agree that indie games should not be degraded because the other games are called double or triple A or etc. Because indie games can compete with double and triple A, not since a month, since years. So there are games on this page which made millions of dollars. I don't know, for example, Vampire Survivors or something like that, or Slay the Spire 1. Or Palworld, big.
Yeah.
And I think this showcases and events like that help, but of course not everyone knows this, not everyone watches this. So I think it needs more things that will help to give that better rating to indie games. Yeah.
I mean, it also has to be it has to do a bit with press. I know when Return to Monkey Island was released a while ago, then the Austrian newspaper, Der Standard, he wrote like the rebirth of the adventure games, of the point and click adventure genre, and it was like you didn't hear about any of those point and click adventures from indie studios. There were tons of those games, but for the non-gaming press, there is no indie. They only heard like, Return to Monkey Island. The editor played that 30 years ago, the first part. Maybe he could write about it, But apart from that, he has no idea about the gaming industry and what's going on there. So
I think that's the problem. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I really like the idea of calling it triple I, or really having that kind of push for it. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's.
By the way,
idea.
there are also quadruple A batteries.
Well, yes.
Very, very thin ones. So,
yeah.
So you could also take that.
Quadruple A. Oh God. Yeah, but talking shortly, I want to talk about the sentence you said, because I read it also so many times in the past years that adventure games are dead, point-and-click adventure games are dead. I'm like, okay, I get what they mean. They just mean that the Sierra company is doing a break.
Yeah.
But never ever have I not seen an adventure game coming out. Like, they were all still coming. It's just like not the... Maybe it's not because maybe it felt for people that it's dead because like the big company who did those most famous adventure games is like over. I don't know. I really never got that sentence. Yeah, adventure games are dead and you can't earn money with them anymore. Something like that. I always heard that so many times, but it's not true. They were always there. You just didn't see them.
Yeah.
And now the same happened this year with real-time strategy games. They're also coming out more and more, but more from the indie studios. Not from the big ones, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which made me think why those big studios are continuing to kill off the game series. I mean, there are talks about EA stopping Need for Speed, you know, and stuff.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. So because now the Prince of Saudi Arabia is considered by.
No. He bought it. It's been bought.
No, yeah. But they finished the transaction yet.
Yeah.
Because the governmental organs still have to agree with that. But they plan to finish the deal by 2027 or something.
Okay, and that was like the first gossip that came through all this, that they will stop with the franchise.
Yeah.
Oh.
They are. That's one of the first things, and we're just like, okay, then go for it, because next year there are more and more racing games coming out. For example, Screamer, which in Germany is called Bleifuß, from 1995. They are actually making a successor.
I don't have an issue with a big company like EA stopping one of their franchises, because that gives smaller developers a chance to fill that niche.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So let me ask you, Maria,
Yes.
what are the big AAA series you die for, or rather not die?
Ooh, the big ones.
You mentioned GTA. You mentioned.
Yeah.
You mentioned.
What are you doing? Yes, I like GTA, but yeah, I love GTA. I love GTA. I played it in grade school, Vice City. I was not allowed to play it, and then played it at my friend's house. I love that nostalgic times. I liked GTA 5 a lot, but it's not like my favorite AAA game. I would say maybe Skyrim. I think.
Skyrim.
Yeah, I think Skyrim is a game that was with me for years, and yes, I played it on PlayStation 3, and no, I don't think it was a good idea. The loading time were horrendous, but I think Skyrim would be my favorite AAA game. Is Baldur's Gate 3 AAA? That?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah, then Baldur's Gate 3, I guess. Baldur's Gate 3 and Skyrim. Yeah. I would say from the AAA pool, the RPGs would be my favorite, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Resident Evil.
I haven't played much Resident Evil, to be honest, a little. I played the first remake. The old games, yes, and the first remake they did, Resident Evil 2 it was, I think. That I liked a lot, but I haven't played the others, to be honest. No, but I would say these are my favorites. Maybe is Alan Wake considered AAA? Would you say?
Oh yeah.
But maybe this will be another favorite. But this I will tell you next year, maybe when I finally start it. Yeah, but I would say Skyrim, Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, and yours?
Well, let me think. Yeah, well, GTA I liked, but I have to admit I'm like, I don't know, I'm probably like 10 years older than you. So my starting point for GTA was actually the original from 1997.
Oh my
The
god.
top-down thing. Oh god.
The top-down thing, right? When it was still called DMA, right?
Ooh.
And we actually have an interview with the product manager from DMA who saved the game from landing into the trash can. The only problem is now I forgot his name, of course. He spoke to so many people. Gary Penn, exactly. Gary Penn. He used to work for DMA design, and yeah. So if you're interested in how GTA almost never happened to be, that's a Gary Penn interview for you.
Oh, cool! I will
If
look
you're
that up.
into if you're into history lessons. Well, other AAA titles would be Command and Conquer. I mentioned that's a big thing, and I'm really happy that that Tempest Rising is there. That is kind of a homage to the game, and now Dying Breed from Uruguay, which is quite a wild country to have a big game coming from, and and I'm looking forward to Sam Sorcerer Adventure, and and also they announced the new Forza Horizon 6 coming out next year, so and Screamer. So I'm more the adventure, real-time strategy, racing game guy.
Yeah, I get that.
Those three genres are what I like. What I don't like is actually RPG. With
But
parties
that's okay.
and party management, and like
I
that's
love that.
too complex for me, and like I can't.
I love
I can't
managing
stand that.
in my job, and I love managing in games. So
No,
but
I
that's
don't.
Perfect.
I
I buy
don't
the
want
RPGs. You buy the racing games and the
Exactly.
adventures. That's
Exactly.
fine. We
Yeah.
can-
So
We have a deal.
I don't want to manage parties in a game. Like, oh my god, no. Either you fight good or you die. That's simple, you know. Who needs a healer or a magician, you know? So yeah. So I'm very happy that IPs like Sam Sorcerer or Screamer from my childhood are having a revival now.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
That I think some remakes did make sense and some remasters as well. So as much as this evolution annoyed people, especially in the movie field, but I think I like that actually because there are some games that really did that formula well. I don't know, like for example Resident Evil 2, that remake was fantastic. That was really fantastic.
If you talk about movies, I still have to watch the latest Jurassic World movie.
Oh, I stopped watching them.
God.
No,
It's not Jurassic whatever anymore. It's an action movie that dinosaurs happen to be in.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I
don't
mean,
know.
Jurassic Park, the original one, when it was in German television for the first time, it was the only movie that actually gave me nightmares as a kid, which shows how old I am.
The original was great.
The movie is old as I am, I think.
Yeah.
I got nightmares from the scene where
with the raptors.
exactly, and catching the guy's neck on the toilet, you know. Yeah.
There's a video on YouTube where someone took the raptor scene where they're in the kitchen and they're coming in there and made them realistic with feathers and stuff, and somehow that makes them even creepier.
Ooh, like more horror.
Yeah, they got like these like kind of blank like bird stares, you know, like you look at a bird, you know, there's nothing going on in its head, And it's like they got that kind of same kind of,
kill.
Yeah, basically, yeah. They're just soulless killing machines.
I have to watch that. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
We are giving you ideas tonight.
Oh, but by the way, AJ, what are your favorite AAA games now that we talked so much about indie games? What are yours that you really like that are still good?
Yeah, I was into the I really liked the Monkey Island series and those kind of point and click deals. I really liked role playing games.
The contrast to me.
Yes, I'm an RPG guy. And
good.
Yeah, and that's and No Man's Sky. That's really more of a time killer to me. And I like the EA Sports the on PlayStation. The only PlayStation game I ever owned was NHL, which I still have like NHL 09 is what I'm still stuck on. If I play a game.
Oh, really? So you don't buy the new one each year?
No, because it got worse. For some reason, EA really kind of flubbed it on NHL. The newer versions were not as good as the older.
Interesting. But
That's
you only play NHL, not like FIFA or
I enjoyed
Madden
FIFA.
Or
I liked FIFA, but I never actually. I would play FIFA at my friends' houses.
Mm-hmm.
I played NHL at my brother and I would sit there and have tournaments.
But now it's called FC because they dropped the license.
Yeah, sorry. Oh,
FIFA?
yeah, I said the wrong. Is it not like EAFC Club or what something? What is it called?
EAFC.
It's everyone just calls it FIFA.
I know.
Nobody. Yeah,
it's difficult to get this out of your mind.
Yeah. And I really liked the older the Dungeons and Dragons role playing games. We're talking real old, the gold box, which is funny because I could never get into actual D&D. Like sitting down and doing it at a table with friends. Like I tried it a couple of times and just could not get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say I enjoy more games like Baldur's Gate or Divinity or something. I also prefer to have a visual interactive game or whatever.
Yeah.
I got into D&D recently, but I only play it online actually right now because I played with friends far away, and I never played it in person, and that's something I really want to do in my life at least once to like you to see if I like it or not. But playing it online is nice because we use like a tool where you have like a map and you have special effects when someone attacks, so it's like a very, very basic game.
Yeah.
So that kind of works for me, but I don't know if it works in person. I would like to find out.
I should really try it again because all the times, because I'm an adult now with patience, whereas at the time I was a kid, and the guy that was running it was this other kid and he has since gone to prison like 3 times. So I think I just may have had a bad experience playing D&D when I was a kid. I should really try it again.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And
okay.
and for the horror games, the only one that I really spent a lot of time on was Redneck Rampage, which is a classic, and if you can find it anywhere, I heartily recommend it. It is very, very silly.
Interesting. Never heard of it actually.
Yeah, it's there's zombies, but you're like 2 like deep south redneck guys just walking around saying silly things and making dumb weapons and stuff. It's entertaining.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to horror, I have to admit I was the Alone in the Dark guy. Yeah.
Oh, that's going back.
That's long back. 93. Yeah. 93. One of those early
3DO games.
No, I had the PC version. And it was also famous on the Amiga, actually.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And also what I played, but I played it a bit later, 2 years later than release, was Myst.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it pronounced that way? Myst?
Yeah, Myst.
Yeah, okay.
Myst.
Myst, yeah.
Yeah. What did you say, Myst?
I said Myst, like a Myst.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I Germanized it.
Yeah, I think it's
Germanized.
I can't say I've ever actually heard anyone say it out loud, so maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Also one of those games that's still getting new entries.
Yeah.
For many years.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays the development studios goes for Kickstarter because they don't want to go for a publisher, and they don't have the money to fund it themselves. Which is also a thing that a lot of development studios do. I mean, we had Revolution recently. They also don't work with a publisher, you know.
Ah, yeah. I mean, oh yeah, of course, yeah. That's also something many developers can do and can do really well, is to self-publish a game, but that just means they need to work even more.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, at the end they have everything in their hands, so it's just a decision every person has to make, or every team has to make. It's different structures fit to different teams, and they just have to decide for themselves if they want to do all on their own or share the work.
Right. Yeah, well, so I guess we got it covered pretty much.
Yeah, where can people go to follow along with what's going on, what you're doing?
I actually, like me on social media, I only have Twitter, I think. I don't use Facebook anymore, so I only have Twitter. Oh gosh, it's written Maria Poo. But it's not poo, like it sounds in English like poo, but it's not. It's like P-U-U-H. It's written like that. Like Winnie Pooh. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway,
okay.
So that's where you can follow me. And otherwise, you can also contact me or reach me via the Assemble Entertainment channels, because I also do a bit of social media. Just Assemble Team on like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, everything. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. We will put links to all that in the podcast description so people can follow along at home.
Thanks.
Yeah, so we did a mix of the two. You presenting and us talking. So.
Yes, it was really, really fun. I think it was pretty nice to talk a bit about my job, but also just finding out what you guys like about games and what is happening in the games world, where it is going. And it was really, really a lot of fun. Thank you again for inviting me.
No problem. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for sitting with us.